saw Rush this weekend.
Boy, blah.
Ronnie Howard.
Totally but did you think it was Ron? Let me ask you this, Dean. Did you think it was Ron Howard's best film in quite some time, though?
No, I didn't.
Well, I did.
The fact that he hasn't, it feels like he hasn't made a movie in I know he made that Vince Vaughn, Kevin James thing.
He made the Vince Vaughn movie, and he made A Beautiful Mind, and the Angels and Demons and the Da Vinci Code. But I would honestly have to say Rush is the first movie I've seen by him since Apollo 13 that I really liked.
Well, I didn't really like it at all. I found it really dull, and I thought the main character was kind of dull, and I hated the look of the movie, that sort of Euro trashy look that it has. It looked like something like a softcore porn movie or something. I don't know what the deal was on that. And
wait, let me ask you, what's wrong with softcore porn?
Well, I just get, after a while of seeing things with fuzzy gauze over the lens and everything, you start rubbing your eyes like.
Well, you start rubbing your eyes, but I actually thought it was a good film. I actually thought it was a really good film because I didn't know much about this rivalry at all, and I thought it was actually pretty good. And I also thought these are both guys that are down on their luck. Both down on their luck. This rivalry is really suited for today because they're both, really at this time as it's going on. Neither one of them is doing great. Nicky Lauer, and I thought it was fascinating. But it was the first movie by Ron Howard that I've seen since I would have to say Apollo 13. That I thought was really engaging.
Well, let's just say the bar has been lowered considerably for Ron Howard's achievements over the past decade. But so on that limited basis, I would be forced to say yes. Yeah, okay. But it was edited reasonably well, and the sound was good, and Daniel Bruhl was engaging. But I just sat there going, even though it was a boring movie, Grand Prix was a much, Jim Frankenheimer's Grand Prix from the mid-'60s was actually a much better racing movie because it kind of did the same thing. It showed like all these guys are kind of assholes off the track, but the track stuff was much better filmed and edited in that film than it was here.
You guys are also missing Frost Nixon, right?
Oh yeah, Frost Nixon. Yeah, you got to give it.
Not Frost Nixon, but that's a good movie too. But I actually thought this was a decent film, not a great film, but a decent film. Comparing it to Grand Prix or Le Mans, those are definitely apt comparisons, or the Cannonball Run for that matter. But it's not a bad movie. There's something very fascinating about it. But it hasn't lit up anyone's. If I can paraphrase, Charlton Heston from True Lies. It's not lifting anyone's skirts.
It definitely isn't, and it's definitely not a hit. So people were talking about it.
What is up with Ron Howard? I think he tries to be very versatile, which is to his credit. He tries to do different movies every time, but I think what he's missing is a distinctive point of view. There's like a blandness there, and you don't necessarily know how he views the world necessarily by watching his movies.
You definitely don't learn anything about You're absolutely right about that. I think that's the one element that's missing from his thing. It's like, I think he's just I think he just really loves making movies and so forth. But he's not really telling us anything or revealing anything about himself as an artist, except to say that he's a journeyman filmmaker who
he's a proficient filmmaker.
He's a reliable filmmaker. He gets the job done.
But then you see the movies that are undeniably great, like a Frost Nixon or an Apollo 13. But in a way, those are kind of foolproof, because those scripts are so tight and the stories are so engrossing that you'd really have to go out of your way to screw them up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's absolutely
true.
No,
that's
true. And I don't think that he's. I mean, Frost Nixon aside, which for my money, wasn't that great. I mean, it had a couple of great performances in it and a great idea, but I didn't think it was insanely great. But for the most part, his output has just not been. It really hasn't been that consistent. It's been consistent on a slickness level, but it hasn't really been that consistent. And I'm not a big Beautiful Mind fan at all. I mean, that's like one of the worst.
Well, I mean, it's got the Return of the Jedi ending. It's got the Return of the Jedi ending. So what the hell? What do you expect from it?
I didn't remember the
What is that? What does that mean? Oh, I think I know what you mean.
You know what I mean. Jesus Christ, do I gotta spell that out?
You're talking about Beautiful Mind has a Return of the Jedi ending?
Yeah.
I don't know what you mean.
Well, then you guys need to really come over here and smoke a bowl with me.
He turns around and he sees his imaginary friend with other people in his life?
Exactly.
Okay.
That's all I could think of.
That's right.
I got you.
That's a damn good analogy. You guys should fucking quote me on that. We can make some money from this show.
That's a good analogy. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Let's pause a moment.
Thank you.
Reflect on Jerry's great analogy.
But
the Ron Howard movie that I still respond to like gangbusters is Parenthood. I mean, what a delightful, observant, funny, touching, tender movie.
I have to tell you, I completely agree with you on that. I think that might be his best movie.
It's a great movie.
I think also that might be the movie. I think that might be great because I think it's the movie that might reveal most something about his filmmaker.
Yeah.
I think that he felt a real affinity for that, and actually, as a parent, a famous parent of now famous people, but and also being part of a famous filmmaker, film acting family, I think he really responded to that in ways that are telling in the quality of the film. So, you're absolutely right.
And it's got that Empire Strikes Back ending that I love.
Oh yeah, I mean, big time.